Most modern vehicles have built-in safety systems to protect its passengers. They can be summarized as the following. Safety belt. All passengers should use safety belts for their safety. The Qatar traffic law obliges passengers of front seats to use the safety belt at all times. The seat belt keeps the user of the belt in the seat when the vehicle starts to stop or upon impact or an accident. Protects the head and face from collision with any other part inside the vehicle. It reduces injuries to about 40 to 50%. The belt prevents vehicle passengers from colliding with each other, especially when the vehicle turns over. It helps the driver maintain control on the vehicle. It reduces the possibility of successive accidents. Passengers inside the vehicle, before coming to a halt, gain the vehicle's speed, and this results in having them collide with each other inside the vehicle, and maybe get them thrown out of the vehicle. How to use the safety seatbelt. Wearing the seatbelt of the vehicle helps in keeping the driver safe. Safety belts are designed to be held by the structure of the body's bone structure and must be put on across the front of the pelvis, chest and shoulders. The shoulder harness should not touch the neck. It must be adjusted to be tight and not loose. It is supposed to be worn by one passenger only. It is important to put on the safety belt after sitting in the vehicle and be worn at all the times, even if the driving distance is short. In the case of collision or a sudden stop of the vehicle, not wearing a safety seat belt during driving will cause serious injuries when the passengers collide with each other or collide with other parts of the vehicle. Without a seatbelt, a driver could be thrown out of his vehicle. Kids and safety belts. Safety belts in the vehicle are not suitable for kids because they have special seats according to their ages and sizes from 1 year to 10 years. There are 4 main points for the safety of kids regarding safety belts. Kids must be fixed in each trip at all times. Have the kids seated in the rear seat. Use kids suitable and appropriate kid safety equipments. Use kid safety seats and belts in a proper way. Babies and safety belts. Babies must be seated in a rear-facing safety seat at the rear seat of the vehicle. This should be done from the day of birth to the maximum weight allocated for the rear-facing safety seat. Always check the instructions to know the weight and height limits that are to be used in the rear-facing position. Babies sitting in the front seat of the vehicle may be subject to a fatal injury when colliding with the airbag. When your baby reaches the maximum weight of the rear-facing safety seat of the vehicle, the driver of the vehicle must change the position of his seat to be front-facing. If you are using a rear-facing safety seat that is allocated for babies only, you will be required to replace it with a new front-facing seat for the safety of your baby. When it comes to pregnant women, They also need to use a safety belt for their own safety and the safety of their babies. Airbags. When the vehicle collides, the airbag operates and prevents the driver from hitting his head and chest with the steering wheel and windscreen. It also protects the passengers. Vehicles are provided with a number of airbags for the passenger and the driver. They are provided to the sides of the vehicle to protect passengers from side collision accidents. It is important to know that airbags do not replace safety belts, because with airbags, there is still a possibility for having passengers thrown out from the vehicle in the case of a large collision. That is why always wear the seatbelt in the proper way. The headrest. It is one of the most important safety measures that prevents the collision of the back of the head in case of an accident or the sudden use of brakes that may break the neck or the top part of the spine. The collapsible steering column. This system operates through the existence of collapsible points in the vehicle's steering column. The steering column collapses at these points following the collision. This protects the driver's body from the impact of the collision. Anti-lock braking system, ABS. The ABS device prevents skidding of the vehicle when braking, even if the road surface is slippery. This of course helps when the stop distance is less than normal, which helps avoid the collision of the vehicle with the obstacle facing it. It also helps the driver to control the steering of the vehicle during the sudden use of brakes. Side beams. These beams are placed on the sides of the vehicle body, the doors, to enforce and increase its resistance and durability against collision and accidents that occurred at the side of the vehicle to protect the driver and the passengers. The Electronic Stability Program, ESP. This system stabilizes the vehicle path if the driver steers his vehicle to a certain direction to avoid a sudden obstacle on the road. This system also prevents the deviation of the vehicle when turning as a result of a change in road surface or driving at an improper speed. The design of the body in modern vehicles. In modern vehicles, manufacturers reinforce the vehicle's compartment and not the body. Limiting this to the compartment keeps the passenger safe. The two front and rear parts of the vehicles are designed in a way that ensures the absorption of the collision's force. Here are the degrees of iron hardness in the vehicle. First degree hardness iron. Second degree hardness iron. Third degree hardness iron. Collapsible or deformable iron, aluminum, and magnesium. Safety equipment in the vehicle. The fire extinguisher. The driver should be able to choose the proper type of fire extinguishers and according to the vehicle's load. For example, it is dangerous to use a fire extinguisher that contains a mixture of water and soda acid to extinguish fuel burning, as this leads to the spread of fire. The driver must avoid using the extinguisher in confined spaces. When directing the extinguisher, it should be done through narrow points. The engine compartment should not be fully open. The driver must check the pressure gauge of the fire extinguisher from time to time to make sure of its validity. the reflective triangle, and first aid kit. The reflective triangle is an equilateral triangle with a side length not less than 45 centimeters. Its surface contains reflective materials. It is used in emergency cases. It is used from a sufficient distance from the vehicle. The distance depends on the road speed. The higher the road speed, the longer the distance. This is to ensure the safety of the driver and other drivers. The first aid kit, it contains medical supplies that are used during emergencies. The tools and the spare tire. The tools are important when it comes to replacing tires or repairing minor faults. The tools should include the following: the jack arm, and the wheel lock nut key. All vehicles have a spare tire. This tire is either fixed in the trunk, or at the rear of the vehicle, or underneath it. The spare tire is the same as the other tire's size. And the driver must always check the tire for pressure from time to time.